Is the Canada PR on your wish list? Canada is looking forward to welcome over 1 million immigrants over the next few years. And you'll be glad to know that there's a mutual recognition agreement.
Hello, good morning everyone. Can you guys hear me? Good morning. क्या आप मुझे सुन सकते हैं? Please बताइए chat box में. Are you able to hear me properly? Are you able to listen to me properly or not? Please type a yes in the chat box. And are you able to see me properly or not? Am I visible and audible to you? Good morning Sumit. Good morning Manav, Deeptesh, Pankaj, Miraki, Ravi Gupta. Good morning Sumit, Saurav Das, Rohit Sharma, good morning. Good morning, Riddhi, Yashika, Jyoti, Jyotish, Divya, Sumit, Mohammad Asif, Kartike. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Aniket, Udaynath, Mahapatro, Monish. Good morning and welcome to this session, guys. And in this session, we are going to discuss a very important topic of your syllabus, not only of intermediate, but also of final students. And the name of the topic is residential status. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss, in this particular session, we are going to discuss the chapter of residential status. And guys, this entire week, Tuesday as well as Thursday, I'm going to take lectures on residential status itself. And the coming Sunday, the Sunday after Holi, on that particular Sunday, I'm going to take a test of residential status. So test of residential status will be there on the Sunday, which is after Holi. So that is the plan which I am working on these days. And you guys also have to work on the same plan. And the mission of all of us is very, very same, very, very common. The mission is very clear. The mission is June 2022 attempt. We need to clear intermediate. We need to clear group 1 in June 2022 attempt. That is the mission which all of us are chasing, which all of us are pursuing. And guys, with that mission in mind, I start today's revision lecture on the chapter of residential status. So yes, these are certain learning outcomes which we are going to see in the residential status chapter. After the chapter is over, you should be able to understand all these features of residential status chapter. Let me go through these features one by one, and let me take them up one by one. So first of all, you should understand why do we need residential status topic, okay? Why is residential status so essential? That is the first thing which we need to know right now. Good morning Achal. Good morning Yash. Good morning Yash. Good morning Kirti Batra. Group 2 lectures, nothing has been planned as of now, Yash, but soon we'll be planning group 2 lectures as well. Kirti Batra, good morning everyone. Yes, a very fine morning, and we are going to start the much coveted chapter, residential status, in today's session. Okay, sir. So the learning outcomes of this particular chapter at the end of this particular session, or 2 sessions, okay, Tuesday and Thursday, 2 sessions, we'll be able to understand the objectives of this chapter, residential status. What is the objective of this particular chapter? That is the first learning outcome which we are going to see. So objective of residential status, why do we need to study residential status? Then how do we compute residential status for individual, HUF, company, AOP, BOI, all the kind of persons who are there? How can we calculate, or how can we know the residential status? That is the most important thing which we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. And yes, guys, out of all the persons, the residential status of individuals is the most important thing that you should learn by heart. Okay, this is one very important topic which will come in the examination. It has been coming in the examination regularly in past. Good morning, Deepti. Good morning, Akanksha. Suman Bharti is there. Saloni is there. Karan Kumar is there. Good morning, everyone. Yes. So residential status has these parts, guys. And guys, at the end of this particular chapter, we are going to study, what is the relevance of residential status in each of these incomes. So kind of incomes which are there. These are the kind of incomes which are there. Income which received in India, income which is accrued in India, income which is deemed to be received in India, and income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. These are 4 kinds of income. And how do residential status impact each of these income? That is also what we are going to study at the end of this chapter. So these are the learning outcomes of this particular chapter, which is the residential status. Now, guys, before I start this particular chapter, I need to make a concept very, very clear in your mind. The concept is of turning a word into opposites. So, guys, when you were young, you used to study antonyms. What are antonyms? Antonyms means opposite of a word, right? So what is antonym of good? Please write in the chat box. What is antonym of good? Antonyms, synonyms and antonyms. So what is antonym? What is opposite of, in simple words, opposite? What is opposite of good? What is opposite of good? I want in the chat box. This is, guys, nursery class, or first class or second class, when we used to start studying English language, or second class or third class. At that point in time, we used to study all these things. What is antonym of good? Perfect. Antonym of good is bad. Perfect. What is antonym of sunrise? What is antonym of sunrise? What is opposite of sunrise? What is antonym of sunrise? Perfect. Bad. Hardik Tank, Garima Jain, Jyotish, Saloni, Riddhi, Debraj. Perfect. What is antonym of sunrise? Antonym of sunrise. What is antonym of sunrise? Yes, you are right. Antonym of sunrise is sunset. It is opposite words, okay? Opposite. We are talking about opposites. When you have to convert a word into its opposite, then you try searching for a word which is exactly opposite of a particular word. Guys, in this particular chapter, I need your skill of converting words into opposite, or situations into opposite situations. I'll give you certain circumstances. You have to convert that circumstance into an opposite circumstance. This is one skill that I want from all of you in this particular chapter called residential status. If you were bad at this skill when you were in your 3rd class or 4th class, I am very sorry. You will not be able to conclude this chapter very efficiently. You will not be able to carry on this chapter very efficiently if you were bad in this skill, which is converting words into opposites. All right. Sir, what do you mean? You are just, playing quizzes with us. You are just puzzling us. No, guys, I'm not puzzling us. So I'll ask a very simple question. The condition for passing CMA intermediate. Let me expand this particular part so that you are able to see it properly, okay? Yes, please see this part. The condition for clearing CMA intermediate, the condition of clearing CMA intermediate is that in individual subjects, you have to score more than or equal to 40% marks. And in aggregate, you have to score more than or equal to 50% marks. This is the condition of qualifying CMA intermediate. Guys, the conjunction which is adding these two parts is and. So now my question to you, which you have to answer in the comment box, this and means both the conditions are to be satisfied, or even if one condition is satisfied, that is also okay. Both the conditions are satisfied, or even if one condition is satisfied, that is also okay. I want answer in the chat box. I want answer in the chat box. What is the qualification? What is the categorization. What is the condition of qualifying CM intermediate exam? How do you pass in CM intermediate exam? That is what I'm asking. Okay, so there are two things which are written. Individual subjects, you have to score more than 40%. Aggregate, you have to score more than 50%. Both the conditions are to be satisfied, or only single condition is to be satisfied? Answer is both the conditions are satisfied. It is added by conjunction, and means both the conditions are to be satisfied. I want to convert this into opposite. I have to convert this pass into fail. I have to convert this pass into fail. I have to convert this into opposite. So if I want to convert this into opposite, individual subjects, if you score less than 40%, you are fail. Or aggregate, if is less than 50%, again you are fail. Now the conjunction which is adding these two parts is or. Now please tell me in the chat box whether both the conditions are to be satisfied, or either one of them is to be satisfied. One of them is to be satisfied, or both the condition is to be satisfied to fail in CM intermediate. The conjunction which is there is or. Please tell in the chat box. Only one condition is to be satisfied, or both of the conditions are to be satisfied when we write the word or. Either one, perfect. Either one, anyone, perfect. Garima Jain, Chirag Khemani, Jaydeep Das, Payal, any one of them. Vijay Salgar, Vishnu Prasad, Alfia, Biginepalli Bhaskar. Biginepalli Bhaskar, you are wrong. It's not both of them. It is one of them, because or is the conjunction. Or is the conjunction. So it is either one of them. If either one of them is fulfilled, then you fail in CMA intermediate examination. So to convert a situation into its opposite situation, what you have to do is, you have to first of all convert the signs into opposite signs. So greater than equal to gets converted into less than. That is the first thing that you need to do. Second thing which you need to do is convert and into or. It becomes the opposite situation. So if you want to pass the examination, if you want to pass CM intermediate, then you have to follow these two conditions simultaneously. Both of the conditions are to be satisfied. But if you want to fail in CM intermediate, obviously no one wants to fail in CM intermediate, but if you were to fail in CM intermediate, then guys, either one of the conditions are to be satisfied. Either you score less than 40% marks in individual subjects, or you score less than 50 marks in aggregate, then you will fail in CMA intermediate examination. That is the condition, or that is the way the positive situations, or the any one situation is converted into its opposite. This is the way. Sir, why did you tell us this way? Just wait, I will explain it in my future slides. In my further slides, I will explain all of this stuff, why I have explained this. You will be able to understand it well. Now the question is, sir, what is the purpose of this particular chapter known as residential status? Sir, why are we studying this chapter? Why is there a need of this chapter? So we are earning income. You please tell us what is the tax rate. You apply tax on that particular income, and that's it. Why do you want to publicize the residential status chapter so much? What is the relevance of residential status? Sir, income is earned. If income is earned, tax is paid. Simple as that. Why is residential status there in our syllabus? Why is residential status relevant? Guys, residential status is relevant because there are multiple governments like Indian government and United States of America. I've taken example of two governments, Indian government and United States of America government. Guys, Indian government has to recover taxes from its residents who are there in India. Similarly, US government has to recover taxes from its residents who are there in USA. Now, guys, before coming to residency, let me tell you, Ram is a citizen of India and Joseph is a citizen of United States of America. Ram has been born and raised in India. He has done all his schooling, college, everything from India. He's also working in India. Now tell me, who has the right to recover taxes from Ram? Please write in the chat box. I want answer in the chat box. Ram has done his schooling from India. Ram has done his college from India. Ram has done entire education from India. Who is eligible to recover taxes from Ram? Is it the Indian government or is it the US government? I want answer in the chat box. Please tell me, who should recover taxes from income of Ram? Who should recover taxes ideally? Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. It should be India. You are right. Jyotish, Kirti, Akanksha, Deeptesh, Isha, Amit, Shilpi. You are absolutely right, guys. Absolutely right. The right to recover taxes should be with Indian government. Similarly, Joseph, who's born and raised in United States of America, he should pay taxes to United States of America because the place where Joseph is working is also United States of America. So the taxes should be paid in United States of America. So respective countries have the right to recover taxes from their respective citizens, right? Right, sir. Now, I'll give you a twist in the tale. Ram is born and raised in India, has done his schooling in India, has done his college in India, has completed his higher studies in India, has done everything in India. But when it came to job, he was placed in campus. And guys, in the campus, Ram got selected in a company which is located in United States of America. So soon as Ram finished his entire studies, he went abroad to pursue his career. He got selected in a company in United States of America. Suppose name of the company is Oracle Systems Corporation, one of the biggest giants of software technology in the world, not only in the country but in the world. So Ram got selected in United States of America, Oracle Systems Corporation. He flew back to United States of America for pursuing his job. Now, guys, please tell me, who should recover taxes from Ram? Is it the Indian government or is it the United States of America government? Please consider this fact. Please consider this fact. Please be a little patriotic, okay? मेरे देश की धरती सोना उगले उगले हीरे मोती. Ram has been born and raised in India. Ram has done his schooling in India. Ram has played in the fields of India. Ram has acquired the skills and knowledge in India. Ram has ever been in India. He is born and raised in India. Please have some patriotism before giving the answer to me. Please have some patriotism before giving answer to me. Who should be eligible to recover taxes from Ram if after completing education, Ram went to United States of America for earning income, for earning salary? Who should recover taxes from India, from Ram? Is it Indian government or is it United States of America government? Please be patriotic, okay? प्लीज अपने वतन की मिट्टी को ध्यान रखना भाई, अपने वतन की मिट्टी की खुशबू देखना. बारिश में जो वतन की मिट्टी की खुशबू आती है, उस खुशबू को प्लीज दरकिनार मत करना. उस खुशबू का वास्ता तुम्हें आंसर देते हुए जरूर उस खुशबू का वास्ता रखना. अरे कर्ज अदा करना है उस खुशबू का हमको. तो देखते हैं कौन सी गवर्नमेंट टैक्स रिकवर करने के लिए एलिजिबल होगी. So it says Akansha says US government, perfect. Harsh Katoch is there. Harsh Katoch, you were not there in yesterday's class. I want an explanation for that. Khair, he has given the right answer. USA government. Absolutely, guys. Most of you are saying USA government. Guys, what is the reason? No patriotism is there here. Very good. This is amazing. Chirag Khimani saying no patriotism, no emotions when law is there. Law is emotionless. Law doesn't see any emotion. Absolutely correct. No patriotism. Chirag Khimani is absolutely right. No patriotism over here. We will go by logic. And the logic says, since the income is being earned in United States of America, since the income is being earned in United States of America, the right to receive taxes, the right to levy taxes rests with United States of America government and not with Indian government. Absolutely. We cannot be emotional about it. We cannot be sensitive about it emotionally. No, there's no emotional quotient over there. We have to be logical, and the logic is the place where income is earned, the place where income is earned, over there, the income tax should be paid. So Ram should pay taxes to the United States of America, government of United States of America, tax department of United States of America. Ram should pay taxes over there. So guys, the conclusion of the matter is, the crux of the matter is, while levying taxes, citizenship is irrelevant. Whose citizen are you? Where are you born? Whose passport do you have? Whose ration card, Aadhaar card do you have? Absolutely irrelevant. All these things are absolutely irrelevant. Whose citizen were you there? Where did you complete your schooling, college, etc., etc.? Absolutely irrelevant. What is relevant is how much time did you spend in that particular year, in that particular country? That is the residential status. Where are you actually residing? Because the place where you are residing, that place will be the place where you are actually earning income. If I'm residing in India, then I'm earning income in India. If I'm residing in USA, I'm earning income in USA. So guys, it cannot happen that I'm residing in India, but I'm earning my primary source of income from USA. No, can't happen. If my business is in USA, I have to fly down to USA and stay over there. That is a different thing. That I have multiple branches. Branches just a small part of your business. But if your main business is in USA, you have to stay in USA. Yes, you can have branches in all around the country, all around the world, but you have to stay on your principal place of business. Wherever your principal place of business is, you have to stay over there. So if you are in United States of America, you will earn income over there. So the condition to levy taxes is not citizenship. It is not citizenship. It is not patriotism. It is not mere desh ki dharti sona ugle ugle heere moti. No, not at all. The relevant consideration is residential status. Wherever you are a resident of, wherever you are spending your most part of the year, where you are residing, where you are doing your economic activities, where you're doing your daily activities, that country will be country of your residency, and that government will have the access to or have the right to tax you. That is the relevance of this chapter, residential status. So I'm now going to distinguish between residential status and citizenship. Residential status versus citizenship. So guys, who's a resident? First of all, let's talk about resident, okay? Who's a resident? A resident is a person who's by birth a resident, or by process of naturalization he's a okay, sorry. First of all, we'll discuss who's a citizen, okay? First of all, we'll discuss who's a citizen. Citizen is a person who is by birth a citizen of any country, or in the process of naturalization, he becomes citizen of that particular company. So what do you mean by naturalization? Naturalization means, guys, you belong to India, although you are a citizen of India, but you marry a girl who's in Russia, or you marry a girl who's in the United States of America. Now, my many students, boys, will be really excited by this thought that yes, sir, if we marry a girl who's belonging to Russia, will we become a Russian? Yes, you will also get citizenship of Russia, subject to certain terms and conditions. If you marry a girl from Australia, and same goes for girls also, if you marry a boy from outside the country, then from the process of naturalization, you get citizenship of that particular country, you get citizenship of that particular region. So that is how your citizenship is determined based on naturalization. Through natural techniques, through naturalization, if you're not born in that particular city, in that particular country, but you get married to a person who's belonging to that particular country, you become a citizen of that particular country. Next is you get a right to have passport of that particular country, okay? So if you get a right to have a passport of that particular country, then you are a citizen of that particular country. Then citizens have voting right. You have right to vote. Citizens have voting right. Citizens have no restriction on their entry and exit. They can enter the country at any given point in time. They can exit the country at any given point in time. There's no visa requirement for citizens. So for citizens, no restrictions on entry and exit is there. Then citizenship generally remains the same for all the years, okay? Guys, Ram can, visit USA for a short period of time. In the next year, he might come back. He might say, no, I don't like the job. I want to be in India. So residency might change from year to year. But if once you are a citizen of a particular country, it doesn't change. It becomes constant for the years to come. So it remains same for all the further years. Yes, Junaid Alam is absolutely right. Very good, Junaid. Junaid is saying, sir, voting rights, no visa required. Perfect, Junaid. Now let's talk about residency. Guys, residency doesn't have any voting rights. So you don't get voting rights if you're a resident of a particular state. Resident means you are just staying over there, okay? For income tax purposes, you will be taxed. That's it. That's the only meaning of residency, okay? You don't get citizenship rights if you're a resident. So no voting rights are there for residents. Entry and exit is restricted. You don't enter and exit freely. You have to get a visa to enter that particular country, even if you're a resident, okay? Because residency is relevant from an income tax perspective, not from the FEMA perspective or foreign remittance and foreign exit and entry perspective. Those are governed still by the citizenship norms. Citizenship is relevant for entry and exit. So restriction on entry and exit. So if you're a resident of USA, doesn't mean that you will get free access to United States of America. No, you will come on work visa. You will come on work visa and you will have to go back when your work visa is expiring. No passport is there for residents. Period of stay Control and management is the relevant criteria through which residency is determined. So citizenship was determined by birth or by naturalization, but residency is determined through period of stay or control and management of that particular entity. So in case of individual, it is period of stay. In case of companies, HUF, AOPBOI, which are not individuals, which are not natural persons, it is control and management. Whose control management is where? That is the determining criteria of determining the residential status. So these are so different for different years. So residency can be different for different years. Citizenship generally is same for all the years. So these are the differentiating criterias of residency versus citizenship. For income tax purposes, guys, for income tax purposes, please tell me what is relevant. Is it citizen or is it resident? Please write in the chat box what is relevant. Jyotish says residency may change. Perfect, Jyotish, from year to year, but citizenship remains as perfect. Jyotish, very good, Jyotish, superb. Junaid says time period, no passport, no voting right, may change from year to year. Junaid is absolutely right. So guys, in the chat box, please write from an income tax perspective, am I bothered about citizenship or am I bothered about residency? What am I bothered about? From income tax perspective, am I bothered about residency or citizenship? Oh yes, absolutely right. You guys are genius. I have geniuses in my class. Brilliant, brilliant. Debraj, Nagnath, Tanishk, Kirti, Dhruv Jain. Oh, Dhruv Jain, good morning. Dhruv Jain has woken up. Finally, he's there in our class. Good. Shilpi Sharma, Deeptesh, Pankaj Kumar, Yashika, Khushi, Rohit, Tanya, Miraki, Disha, Megha, Anushka. Everyone is absolutely right. For income tax purposes, residency is relevant. Now we are going to decide. Now we are going to determine how do we decide whether a person is resident of a country or not. That is what we are going to start now. And guys, we are primarily going to see two rules of residency. We are primarily going to see two rules of residency. Rule number one, if you are there in India for more than or equal to 182 days. So guys, almost 6 months, okay? If you are there in India for more than 6 months, but it's not exactly 6 months, it's 182 days. So if you are in India for more than or equal to 182 days, then you become a resident in India. If you are in India for more than or equal to 182 days, this is the base rule 1. So the first rule and the primary rule, this is the primary rule of residency of an individual, okay? Because guys, company don't have legs, okay? Company cannot board a flight and go away to United States of America. So for companies, period of stay will not be relevant. For HUF, period of stay will not be relevant. For AOPBOI, period of stay is not relevant. For only individual, period of stay is relevant for deciding whether individual is resident or not. Please remember this, okay? So how many days should an individual be in India? How many days should an individual be in India to become a resident of India? Answer is 182 days or more. 182 days or more, then he becomes a resident of India. And so what happens if he becomes a resident of India? The result is Indian government will have a right to tax that particular person. So guys, suppose if Joseph, in my last example, suppose if Joseph stays in India for 190 days, suppose if Joseph stays in India for 190 days, then who will get access to tax Mr. Joseph? Indian government will gain access to tax Mr. Joseph. Income tax department of India will get access to tax Mr. Joseph if Mr. Joseph stays in India for more than 182 days. Good morning, Tanupriya. Finally, Tanupriya has woken up. Tanupriya is usually late in all the classes. So today also she is late by 29 minutes. But nonetheless, Tanupriya has joined. I'm happy. Very good. Good morning, Tanupriya. Okay. So Mr. Joseph is taxable in India. If Mr. Joseph is taxable in India, why? Because he stayed in India for more than 190 days. But sir, Mr. Joseph was born in USA. His entire schooling and life and college and girlfriends and relationships and marriage, everything happened in the United States of America. So what? I'm not bothered. If he has stayed in India for 190 days, which is more than 182 days in the last previous year, I will say that this particular person is taxable in India. I will definitely say that. So the first base rule which I'm going to explain now is if you are in India for more than 182 days, more than or equal to 182 days, then this particular person is a resident of India. And if that person is a resident of India for less than 182 days, if he is residing in India or he is staying in India for less than 182 days, then I will say that he is a non-resident in India. He is not a resident in India. Base rule 1, very simple. If you stay in India for 182 days or more, you are a resident of India. If you stay in India for less than 182 days, then you are not a resident in India. That is the conclusion that I'm drawing. Now, guys, this was a very simple rule, okay? But this rule can be exploited. How, sir? How this rule can be exploited? Guys, there's very simple way of exploiting this particular rule, okay? A person who's resident of India since past many years, he has been earning income in India. He has been a resident of India. He has always been in India and he has always given tax to Indian government. Now, suppose there is a year, which is the next year, which is coming. So today we are standing in March, April is starting. I know that in the month of April, I'm going to sell my house property in crores and crores of rupees. I will gain capital gain of crores and crores of rupees. So to avoid income tax, I might play some strategies. To avoid income tax, I might play some strategies. So what can be one of the probable strategy? Guys, the probable strategy is that I might fly away outside India in this particular year and can stay outside India for more than 182 days. I was a resident in past. I will be a resident in future. But in the current year, to avoid my tax liability, I might fly away from India for more than 182 days, and I will avoid the residency rule of residential status. To avoid this loophole, to avoid people from doing this, current year's period of stay was again clubbed with earlier year's period of stay. So now I get on to the second rule of residency. Now I get on to the second rule of residency. And what is the second rule of residency? Guys, second rule of residency is that if you are in India for less than 180 days, typically you should be a non-resident. But no, I will not consider you as a non-resident. I will again see rule number 2. Guys, the rule number 2 is that yes, you are in India for less than 182 days. But are you in India for more than equal to 60 days? You should be in India for at least 60 days, okay? Approximately 2 months, okay? So are you in India for more than or equal to 60 days? Question. And were you in India for more than 365 days in last 4 previous years? So I have combined current year's period of stay with previous year's period of stay to see the combined effect of that on residential status, so that you are not able to avoid residential status by not being in India for one of the years. You do not avoid residential status in that particular scenario. So if you are staying in India for more than 182 days, matter finishes. You are a resident of India. Indian government has the right to tax you. If you are in India for less than 182 days, then I have to further see condition number 2, rule number 2, which is, are you in India for less than or more than equal to 60 days? If yes, then I will see your period of stay in last 4 years. Were you in India for last 4 years? 365 days, were you in India? If answer to both these situations is true and true, then you become a resident. If you were in India in the last year for 60 days, okay, and in the previous 4 years, last year 60 days, previous 4 years, if in the previous 4 years you were in India for more than 365 days, if both the conditions are cumulatively satisfied, the condition is conjunction used is and not or, which means both the conditions are cumulatively satisfied. If you satisfied these two conditions cumulatively, then you become a resident of India. You become a resident of India if both these conditions are cumulatively satisfied. And guys, now I want you to find out opposite of this, okay? I want you to find out opposite of this. Opposite of this is, if you are in India for less than 60 days, or now one of the conditions are to be satisfied, not both, one of the conditions are to be satisfied. If you were in India for less than 60 days, or if you were in India for less than 365 days in last 4 previous year, then I will consider you as a non-resident. As a non-resident. So guys, residency doesn't only depend upon your period of stay only in the year under consideration, but it also depends on your period of stay in the past 4 previous years. We don't want to give you an easy giveaway. Okay, this is not a giveaway. We cannot forego your residential status just on the basis of 1 year of your period of stay. No, we cannot forego our residential status just based on your 1 year period of stay. 1 year period of stay can be manipulated. 5 years period of stay cannot be manipulated. So we have attached twin conditions. Number one, he has to stay in India. He has to stay in India in the past year, the year in which we are considering the residential status. He has to also stay in India for some part of the last 4 preceding previous years. If cumulatively you fulfill both the conditions, both of these conditions, then you become a resident. So condition number one, more than 60 days stay in India in the last year, the year for which we are determining the taxes, and more than 365 days in last 4 previous years. So whatever are the last 4 previous years, you have to stay in India for more than equal to 365 days for last 4 previous years. If both these conditions are cumulatively satisfied, then guys, you become a resident of India, and yes, Indian government will have a right to tax you. If not, if you fulfill, if you don't fulfill any one of the conditions, that you are not in India for less than 60 days, you are in India for less than 60 days, then or you are there in India for less than 365 days in last 4 previous years, then you become a non-resident in India. And yes, further we have one more rule which we are going to study now. Let me take certain questions which are there. All right. क्वेश्चन इज सर, अगर इंडिया में रेजिडेंट नहीं होंगे तो कहीं तो रेजिडेंट होंगे, वहां भी इनकम पे टैक्स पे करना होगा, तो कैपिटल गेन पे वहां भी तो टैक्स पे करना होगा ना. एब्सोल्युटली श्रद्धा पोदार, very very true. Shraddha Podar is absolutely right. Sir, if we are a non-resident in India, suppose we are a non-resident in India, okay, we fall under this category, we are a non-resident in India, okay, and we are trying to avoid tax by being a non-resident in India, suppose, okay, but sir, at that point in time we might be a resident in some other country, right? At least we'll be staying somewhere else, so we might be a resident over there. So guys, if we are avoiding tax in India, then we might be paying taxes in that country. You are absolutely right. But guys, the best part is tax rates vary, laws vary. So maybe tax rate in India is 30% and tax rate in that particular country is only 20%. So you gain 10% by doing this mischief. Indian government will not allow you to do this mischief because you gain 10% by doing this mischief. This is a mischievous activity that you do. You transfer residency from India to USA. Why? Because tax rates may vary, taxation regimes may vary. You may get more benefit in United States of America. That's the reason why you might choose to shift your residency from a high tax jurisdiction to a low tax jurisdiction. I would like to shift my residency from a high tax jurisdiction to a low tax jurisdiction. That is the benefit that I will draw from shifting my residency. So I will not allow you to do that. Shraddha Podar, very good question from Shraddha Podar. Brilliant, Shraddha. This shows that Shraddha is very, very attentive in class and she is able to understand the concept very well. Very good, Shraddha. All right, guys. So once you become a resident, then guys, further you are bifurcated into two parts. Either you are an ordinary resident or you are a not ordinary resident. Either you are an ordinary resident or you are a not ordinary resident. If you are a resident, then you are further categorized into two parts. So now why now if we are a resident, then sir, income tax of India will be leviable on us. Indian government will levy taxes on us. So now why do we want to know whether we are not ordinary resident NOR or whether we are ordinary resident? What is the purpose, sir? Why should we now know whether we are not ordinary resident or ordinary resident? What is the logic behind it? Logic is very simple, guys. If you are a not ordinary resident, first of all, let me tell you the meaning. Meaning is, not ordinary resident means usually in the past years you are not a resident of India, but in the current year, by chance or by virtue of some transaction, by virtue of some economic activity, by chance you become a resident of India. This is known as not ordinary resident. Usually you are not a resident of India, but by chance during the current year you became a resident of India. That is known as not ordinary resident. And ordinary resident means you were always an Indian resident. You always had Indian residency. That is known as ordinary resident. Now, sir, why should we bifurcate our residency into two parts? The reason is very clear. Some incomes are taxed in hands of ordinary residents. So, in case of ordinary residents, all incomes are taxed. In case of not ordinary residents, some income are not taxed. In case of non-residents, most of the incomes are not taxed. Let me repeat. In case of ordinary resident, all the incomes are taxed. In case of not ordinary residents, some incomes are not taxed. And in case of non-resident, most of the incomes are not taxed. Most of the incomes are not taxed. So that is the hierarchy which we follow. So if you don't want to get all your income taxed in India, then you can also become a not ordinary resident, which means that in the past years, you were not a resident, but in the current year, due to some special circumstance, due to some special situation, you were in India, and that is how you became resident of India. That is not ordinary resident. Now, what are the conditions? Let us understand the conditions, guys. If you become an ordinary resident, what is the condition of being an ordinary resident? If you want to become an ordinary resident, then you should be resident. R means resident. You should be resident in 2 out of last 10 previous years. If you're a resident in at least 2 out of 10 previous years, then you become an ordinary resident. And guys, the condition is and both of them are to be cumulatively satisfied. You have to be a resident in at least 2 out of last 10 previous years. You have to be a resident in at least 2 out of 10 previous years, and you have to be in India for more than 729 days in the last 7 previous years. You have to be in India for more than 729 days in the last 7 previous years. If you fulfill both these conditions, then you become an ordinary resident. And then we are aware, guys, we are aware that yes, you are ever since means since 10 years, a decade, since last decade, you were in Indian context, you were a resident of India. Therefore, we will treat you as an ordinary resident. If you are staying in India for more than 729 days out of 7 previous years, we'll say that you are an ordinary resident in India. And the opposite of this is you are a non-resident in 9 out of 10 previous years. Guys, now this is exactly opposite of this, okay? You are a resident in at least 2 out of 10 previous years, okay? Exactly opposite of this. You are a non-resident in 9 out of 10 previous years. You are a non-resident in 9 out of 10 previous years. If you are a non-resident in 9 out of 10 previous years, which means you are a resident only in 1 out of 10 previous years, then we will treat you as a not ordinary resident. Or you were in India for less than equal to 729 days in last 7 previous years. If either of the conditions are satisfied, if any one of the conditions are satisfied, then you become a not ordinary resident. Then you become a not ordinary resident. And of course, guys, for not ordinary resident, few incomes are not taxed. For ordinary residents, all incomes are taxed. For non-resident, most of the incomes are not taxed. Now, next question comes. A very special section, guys. A very, very special section comes. You know, this section has been recently amended in the Act, has been introduced in the Act. सर जैसे कि आईएलटीएस करके चला जाता है अब्रॉड, फिर उधर की जॉब तो उनको उधर ही टैक्स पे करनी है, not in India, right? Saloni, you are absolutely right. So if job is outside India, if job is in a different country, then yes, the taxes are also to be paid in the different country. Okay. Now comes a section 6(1)(a), recently introduced in the Income Tax Act. And this section, so guys, since the beginning of the chapter, I'm saying citizenship is irrelevant. Citizenship is irrelevant. Citizenship is irrelevant. Now, this particular section gives some weightage to citizenship as well. Now, guys, first of all, logic behind giving emphasis to citizenship while calculating residential status. Reason is very clear. Let me explain it to you. Some people are over smart. They think they are a privilege on earth. They are a blessing to the mankind. They are very smart people. They think they are very, very smart. And those people who are very, very smart try to avoid residency of all the countries by staying for a very, very minimum time in each of the country. So, for example, I would stay in India for less than, say, 180 days. I would stay in United States of America for less than 90 days. Suppose 90 days is the threshold for American residential status. Then I move to UK. I stay in UK for less than 40 days because 40 days is the residential status threshold for UK. Suppose I'm just, giving you an example. Then I move to Australia. Okay. And I stay over there for, say, 3 months. The residential status for 3 months, for residency of Australia is for 3 months. I stay over there less than 3 months. This way, I just move around the globe. I'm a super rich, super wealthy person, high net worth individual, and I have my houses in many countries of the world. So I am roaming about in the world, entire world, and I am avoiding residency of every country of the world. Wow, what an amazing privilege. I am avoiding residency of every country of the world. I am avoiding residency of all of them under this situation. Will you be a non-resident in each of these countries? The Indian Income Tax Act says that in such a situation where you are a non-resident in all the countries, where you are non-resident in all the countries and you are earning some income from India and you are a citizen of India, then you will be treated as a resident of India. Despite of the fact that on the basis of period of stay, you are a non-resident. You are not in India for the stipulated period. Despite of that, if you are a citizen of India and your income is more than 15 lakh rupees, then guys, if you are a resident of some other state, then you are a non-resident in India. But if you are a non-resident for any other state, in the country, state means country, okay? Over here, state means country. If you are a non-resident in any other country and you are a citizen of India and you are earning income of more than 15 lakh rupees from Indian sources, then you become a not ordinary resident in India. So it is impossible for an Indian citizen to be a non-resident of all the countries of the world. It is impossible for an Indian citizen to be a non-resident for all the countries of the world. Indian citizen has to be a resident of at least one country, which is India. If you are a non-resident of any country of the world, if you are a non-resident of every country of the world, then you will be a resident of India if you are a citizen of India. That is the implication of this particular section 61A, and this was introduced because of over smartness of many high net worth individuals. They used to avoid residency of all the countries by not staying over there, for the stipulated time period, and that is how they used to take benefit of it. Okay, yes. So Dinesh is saying, sir, 2 out of 10 previous year, does it mean days or continuous 2 years? Dinesh, I'm not talking about period of stay. When I say 2 out of 10 previous years, I'm saying that out of 10 previous years, you are a resident of at least 2 years. You are a resident of at least 2 years, and that 2 years cannot be, may not be continuous. Okay, you can be a resident of year 1 and year 4 out of 10 years. That is also fulfillment of the condition. Okay. ओके ओ यस, ज्योतिष इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट. जिसका कोई नहीं है उसका इंडिया है, तो जिसका भी कोई नहीं होगा उसका इंडिया होगा. ओके गाइस, लेट मी रिपीट दिस कंडीशन वंस अगेन. So if you want to become a non-resident in India, then you have to stay in India for less than 60 days in the previous year. In the last year, you have to be in India for less than 60 days. And in the last 4 years, you have to be in India for less than 365 days. If you fulfill any of the one conditions, then you become a non-resident in India, unless and until you fall under this particular category, right? This is the condition of being a non-resident. Okay, sir, got it? All right, now I move on to exceptions to additional condition, which is section 61C. All right. So guys, we have studied this particular concept that, we will see the residency of not only 1 year, but of last 4 years. We'll see residency of not only 1 year, but of last 4 years. We'll also see whether that particular person was a resident in last 4 years or not. Okay. So this particular condition, which is second base rule. I've talked about the first rule. I've talked about the base rule too. So the second base rule, which is there, is a more stringent base rule. It is a more strict base rule. When it is a more strict base rule, the second base rule, which is the more strict base rule, guys, that particular base rule is very, very strict, because many people become over smart. Okay, they would be a resident for all the past years, but for the current year, especially, they will not stay in India for more than 182 days. Deliberately, they will not stay in India for more than 182 days just to avoid residency. This is the over smartness which some people do, because of which second base rule was introduced in the act. But guys, there are certain genuine circumstances where in the past you were a resident of India, you were staying in India, but in the current year you are genuinely not staying in India. I'll give you an example, guys. I am a CSCMA. I have ever been in India. I've done my education in India, graduation in India, schooling in India. Everything has been done in India. But I take a job in United States of America. So guys, in the past, I was an Indian resident. In the past, I was a part of Indian income tax system. In the past, I was very much in India. But in the current year, I flew to United States of America. Now, guys, I don't have any malified intention in my mind to evade tax. This is just by chance that I got a job in United States of America and I flew over there. This is by chance. I don't have any deliberate intention in mind that yes, I want to evade tax. That is why I'm moving outside India just to evade tax. I don't have any malified intention in my mind. So the second and the stringent base rule, the second and the stringent condition is relaxed for certain genuine cases. So now we are going to study the exceptions to additional residency conditions under section 6(1)(c). In what all conditions will I say that the strict condition of seeing the past will not be applicable? So exceptions to additional residency conditions. Additional residency conditions will not only see current year's stay, but will also see past year's stay. That is what we are going to see now. Okay. Vivek Sharma is saying, sir, section 6(1)(a) में citizen of India and income from India more than 15 लाख दोनों एक साथ satisfy होनी चाहिए. बिल्कुल विवेक, दोनों कंडीशन satisfy होनी चाहिए. वो इंडिया का सिटीजन भी हो और उसकी 15 लाख रुपए से इंडियन इनकम भी हो. और एक और कंडीशन satisfy होनी चाहिए, वो दुनिया के किसी और कंट्री में रेजिडेंट ना बने तो वो इंडिया का नॉट ऑर्डिनरी रेजिडेंट बन जाता है. तीनों कंडीशन satisfy होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. All right. So now we move on to the exceptions to the additional residency rule. तो जो additional residency के rule हैं, उनका हम exception देखते हैं. Now, what is additional residency rule? It is section 6(1)(c), the section which we have studied, that residency is not only based on the current year's period of stay, but it is also based on the past year's period of stay. It is also based on past 4 years period of stay. That is also important while considering the residency. This is the additional residency status. But guys, sometimes there are genuine cases, the absolutely bona fide cases where a person is moving out of India for a genuine cause in the current year. Guys, he should not be penalized. His past should not be seen because he's a genuine person. So exception number 1, which we've just discussed, Indian citizen who leaves India for employment outside India. So if you are moving outside India for employment outside India, then we will not see your past stay in India. If you are a person who's moving outside India for job outside India, we will not see your past. We will only see your present. We will only see your period of stay in India in the relevant previous year. I'll give you an example because I know this is a little confusing point. I'm taking example of previous year 2021-22. Guys, in previous year 2022, a person was in India for less than 182 days, which is 170 days. In the previous years prior to 21-22, in all those years, he was very much in India for all the 365 days of the entire year. He was very much in India. He's an Indian resident, but he got a job in previous year 21-22, because of which he flew to outside India, and he was not in India for more than the stipulated time period. He was in India only for 170 days. Now, guys, in this particular situation, ideally, if I forget about the exceptions, ideally, first I should see the base rule 1, which is of 182 days. Then I will see the base rule 2, which says that if you are in India for more than 60 days in the previous year, and you were in India for 365 days in last 4 previous years, then you become a resident of India. Ideally, I should have seen this. But guys, in these genuine cases, I will not see the additional condition. I will only see the condition number 1. Condition number 1 says, if you are in India for more than 182 days, you are a resident. If you are not in India for more than 182 days, then you are a non-resident. I will not see the past, because this is not to avoid tax. This particular provision is not to avoid tax. It is a genuine reason that you got a job. So these are the exceptions to additional conditions, and I'm not going to see the additional conditions which are there in section 6(1)(c). If these situations are there, what are those situations? Situation number 1, you are an Indian citizen. You are an Indian citizen who leaves India for employment. You wanted an employment outside India. You leave India for employment. You are an Indian citizen who wanted employment outside India. You left the country for employment. We will not see additional condition. We will not see the stringent guideline. You are an Indian citizen who leaves India as a crew member of Indian ship. Your job is to leave India. Like Indian ship, if you are a part of an Indian ship, what is the role of the ship? Ship has to move outside the coast. If you're a part of a member of Indian ship, then you have to move out of India. There is no way you can escape this if you're an Indian crew member. then we will not see your past. We will only see your current year's period of stay. We will not see section 61C or the base rule 2. We will not see the base rule 2. We will not see the stringent base rule. Third, any citizen or a person of Indian origin who stays outside India but visits India during the previous year. Now, this is a special condition, guys. Suppose if you are a PIO. What is PIO? PIO is person of Indian origin. Suppose you are an Indian citizen or a PIO. Suppose you are an Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin and you stay outside India, but you visit India during the previous year. So generally you are staying outside India, right? But in the current year you visit India for a cause, for a purpose. Generally you are staying outside India, but currently you are in India. Then, guys, Indian income, your Indian income is more than 15 lakh rupees. Your Indian income is more than 15 lakh rupees. Then it is not that your additional condition will be absolutely foregone. It's just that your additional condition will be modified. Guys, over there we used to see more than equal to 60 days in section 61C. This is modified section 61C. And in this particular modification, we will see that if you are a POI, which means you are a person of Indian origin who stays outside India, but you visit India during the previous year, then instead of seeing 60 days of the current year, we will see 120 days of the current year period of stay in India. And we will see 365 days or more in the last preceding 4 years. So yes, the condition is not absolutely excluded for this kind of category, but it is a little modified. We will modify the condition. We will relax the condition. We will ease out the condition a little bit. Instead of seeing 60 days, we'll give you a leeway of 120 days. You can be in India for 120 days without paying any taxes. But if you stay in India for more than 120 days, we will ask you to pay taxes. So guys, I'll give you a very simple example, okay? Goa, how many of you have been to Goa, or anyone from Goa from this particular section? Anyone from Goa? Anyone from Goa? अरे नहीं भाई, चिन्मय कुलकर्णी, क्या कर रहे हो तुम? चिन्मय कुलकर्णी, चिन्मय कुलकर्णी, चिन्मय कुलकर्णी, लो 3 बार नाम ले लिया. अनसब्सक्राइब मत करो यार चैनल को. So students who have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and please hit a like button if you're liking this particular video, and if you want me to continue the revision series, please hit a like button. And please request to Chinmaya, don't unsubscribe the channel. He's saying unsubscribe done. Dhruv Jain is asking, what if a person becomes resident in 2 countries? That is a very, very good question, Dhruv. What if a person becomes resident in 2 countries? Guys, if the person becomes resident in 2 countries, then double taxation might accrue to that particular person. But to avoid double taxation, we have double taxation avoidance agreement where there is a tiebreaker rule. What is tiebreaker rule? Tiebreaker rule is when US government is also saying he's my resident, Indian government is also saying he's my resident, then double taxation avoidance agreement will come into play. Income Tax Act will be kept aside. US Income Tax Act will be kept aside, and double taxation avoidance agreement, which is a common tax law for both the countries, that will be taken into consideration, and that will tell us who wins. Okay, if there's a tie, who wins, that will tell us. So only you can be a resident of only one country. You will not be allowed to pay taxes in both the countries. You will not be done. Yes, Jyotish Raj is very, very correct. Perfect, Jyotish Raj, DTA, perfect. Thank you, Devraj. Thank you so much. All right, so we are talking about the PIO. Okay, how many of you from Goa over here, or you've been to Goa? So Goa is a seasonal market. What do you mean by seasonal market? From November to January, Goa has got its most commercial activities at its peak, and the inflow of visitors is too much in Goa. Okay, during that phase, many people from outside the country come to India and they do their work and they go back to their country after doing that work. It is known as seasonal occupation. Similarly, guys, hill stations like Manali, hill stations like Ooty, hill stations like Kasol, all these hill stations, all these stations where vacations are planned, these are seasonal areas. And sometimes people from outside the country, like people from France, or people from USA, or people from Bhutan, Nepal, they come to the country and they put up their stalls, temporary stalls, they earn money and they go back. Okay, so guys, in that case, if they are in India for more than 182 days and they are in India for more than 365 days in the last 4 previous years, then they become a citizen of India. If they have their origin from Indian ancestors, if they have origin from Indian ancestors, if their ancestors were Indians or they are Indian citizens. Then if they stay in India for more than 182 days, or they are in India for 365 days or more in last 4 previous years, they become citizens. They become not ordinary residents, not citizens, not ordinary residents. So that is the exception to this rule, 61C. If they have Indian income which is less than 15 lakhs, then additional condition will not be applicable. So if the Indian income is less than 15 lakhs, if they are earning less than 15 lakhs, then guys, the additional condition 61C will absolutely be not applicable, and only their period of stay in the current year will be seen. Their period of stay year will not be seen in this particular case. So these were the exceptions to section 61C. Okay, sir, got it. So guys, this was the rules which are relevant for Indian citizens, for individuals especially, to become a resident of India. Now we come on to the rules which are relevant for HUF. Now we come on to the residency of HUF. Now we come on to the residency of HUF. So Jyotish is saying, please explain origin meaning. Okay, origin. Person of Indian origin means a person whose parents, father or mother, or grandparents were Indians. That is person of Indian origin. And there's one more word written in that section, citizen. Either he was a citizen of India or he was a person of Indian origin. One word was also written, citizen. Okay. So either he was an Indian citizen, but he's staying outside India for many, many years now, or he is a person from Indian origin, which means his ancestors, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, belong to India. Then that particular person will be called as person of Indian origin. And now he's coming back to India after many, many years. In the previous year, he came back to India. Okay. If he came back to India and his income was nothing much, no income was there, then additional condition will not apply to him. 6 months will not apply to him. But if he is earning income, then guys, additional condition will be applicable to him with a relaxation that he can be in India for a period of at least 3 months. Okay, 3 months. 4 months. 4 months. So 4 months he can be in India, which is 120 days. If he's there in India for more than 120 days, then we will consider him as a resident. Or if he's not in India for more than if he's in India for less than 120 days, we will not consider that particular person as a resident. Okay, sir, got it. Now we move on to HUF. Any other questions in individual? All right. All right. To conclude, guys, base rule 1 for individual, 182 days or more. Base rule 1. Base rule 2, I'm concluding the entire individual residential status. Base rule 1, 182 days or more, 182 days or more. Base rule 1. Base rule 2, 60 days or more in India in the previous year, 365 days out of last 4 years. Then he becomes a resident. Okay. Base rule 2. Base rule 2 is followed by residency. If resident is there, then 2 sections, not ordinary resident, ordinary resident. Ordinary resident will become if he is in India, if he is a resident of India in last 10 years, he is a resident in India for at least 2 years. Then he becomes a ordinary resident. And one more condition to be satisfied cumulatively. 729 days in 7 years, in last 7 years, if he is in India, then he becomes a ordinary resident. Both the conditions to be cumulatively satisfied. If not, if either of the conditions are not cumulatively satisfied, then he becomes a not ordinary resident. Then we come on to 61A. 61 is a special condition which says that if you are not a resident of any part of the world, if you are non-resident in all the countries, if you are over smart, if you have a lot of money and you are just splurging your money to avoid taxation, you are not resident of any other country, but you are a citizen of India, then you will be a resident of India if you are earning 15 lakh rupees of income from India. This is known as forced residency. You are forcefully a resident of India, not because of period of stay, but since you are citizen of India, you will become a resident of India. That is the sum of situation. And lastly, the exceptions to section 61C. 61C will not be applicable. The second base rule will not be applicable if, number one, you are going outside India for employment purpose, a genuine reason, a bona fide reason. Your history will not be seen, only your current period stay will be seen. Your history will not be seen, only your current period stay will be seen if you are going outside India for employment purposes. Number two, if you're going outside India as a member of Indian ship, if you're a member of Indian ship, you're going outside India, the second base rule will not be seen. The strict base rule will not be seen. Number three, if you're a person of Indian origin and you are in India, you're not earning 15 lakh rupees or more of income from India, you're a person of Indian origin who's been outside India for many, many years now. In the current year, you are coming to India, then second condition will not be seen. Second condition will not be applicable to you. Only the first condition will be applicable to you. But if your income, in case you're a POI or a citizen who's staying outside India but has come to India for the first time and your Indian income is more than 15 lakh rupees, then your additional condition will be applicable with a slight modification, which is 120 days instead of 60 days. Instead of 60 days, we'll see your period of stay in 120 days in the last preceding year. That is the sum up. Okay, sir? 10:30 से तो पहले पहले फिनिश हो जाएगा, टेंशन मत लो. All right, now we come on to the residential status of HUF. Now, guys, please tell me, can HUF or a company or a AOP BOI book a ticket? Okay, can they do they have legs? Can they stand up? And can they walk towards the airport? And can they board a flight? And can they go to United States of America? Answer yes or no. Can a HUF or a company or a AOP BOI board air ticket, board a plane and go to America or any other country? Can they do that? Can they do that? Chirayu Rawat. Can they do that? Can HUF, AOP, BOI or company board tickets and can they go outside? Jyotish is saying obviously no. Yes, Jyotish, you are right. Obviously no. That is not possible. Okay. So in case of artificial persons, these are artificial persons. These are not natural persons. Guys, in case of artificial person, period of stay is not seen. What is seen is where is their brain control and management is seen. Where is the brain of that particular organization? If the brain is in India, then you will say that that particular organization is Indian resident. If the brain is outside India, then you will say that that particular person is outside India resident. So we will see the brain is control and management. So if control and management is wholly or partly situated in India, okay. So guys, sometimes what happens is that, you know, your half brain can be in India, half brain can be in USA. So for example, all my students who are taking face-to-face classes from me, you know, sometimes their mind is somewhere else. Physically they are in the class, but their mind is somewhere else. Their half mind is in class, half mind is somewhere else. This happens a lot. Similarly, if decision making is partly being done in India and partly being done outside India, then also that particular person is known as a resident in India. So even if out of 10 decisions, you take one decision in India, you become a resident of India. But out of 10 decisions, if you take all the decisions outside India, out of the 10 decisions, you take all the decisions outside India, then we will say that your control and management is situated outside India wholly, and you will be classified as a non-resident. If all the decisions are being taken outside India, then we will say that you are wholly situated outside India, or control management is wholly situated outside India, and then we'll say that you are a non-resident in India. So in case of artificial person, period of stay is not relevant. What is relevant is control and management. So, and what do you mean by control and management? It means central and actual control and management. It doesn't mean the supervisory decisions, supervisory roles, or some back-end roles. No. The main control, the main decision making which is being done, the main decision, the primary decisions which are being taken, they are to be taken in India to call that particular organization as a resident in India. Now, sir, in case of HUF, apart from resident and non-resident, there are two more categories: ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. And guys, to consider whether an HUF is an ordinary resident or a not ordinary resident, you have to consider the residency of the Karta of the HUF. Now, Karta is a natural person, okay? Karta is a natural person. Karta is the main person who heads the HUF, who takes all the decisions on behalf of HUF. Karta is the main person. So, to consider ordinary and non-ordinary residency of the HUF, we'll see the residency of Karta. Someone is saying poem. No, poem is relevant for companies. Okay, I'll be teaching poem to you. Poem will be relevant for companies, not for HUF. Okay, great. It shows that Sai Kiran is studying residential status, and before attending the class, he has seen residential status videos. It shows very well. Very good, Sai Kiran. Sai Krishna. Very good, Sai Krishna. All right. So, guys, non-residency if wholly situated outside India, residency if wholly situated in India, control and management. Okay. If wholly situated in India, then divided into two parts: not ordinary resident and ordinary resident. Now, this not ordinary resident and ordinary resident will be considered as per the residential status of Karta. Okay. So, if Karta was a non-resident in 9 out of 10 previous years, or he was in India for less than 729 days in last 7 years, then the HUF will be a not ordinary resident. And if the Karta was a resident in 2 out of 10 previous years and he was in India for more than 729 days in the 7 previous years, then the HUF becomes ordinary resident. So residency of HUF will depend on the control and management of HUF plus the past year's residency of the karta of HUF. Two things taken together, will determine the residency of HUF. Thing number one, the control and management of HUF as a whole. Thing number two, the residency of past few years of karta. Both the things taken together will determine the residency of HUF. Because guys, the reason is very simple. You know, karta's residency is relevant for HUF because the entire HUF revolves around karta. Karta is the main person who takes decisions. So if Karta was a non-resident in 9 out of 10 previous year, how can you say that HUF's control and management was in India? How can you was not in India? How can you say that? You know, if Karta was in 9 out of 10 previous years, he was a non-resident. He was not in India for 9 out of 10 previous years. How can you say that he was HUF is controlled and managed in India? How can you say that? No, it is not controlled and managed in India. Managed in India. So if Karta was not in India for 9 years out of 10 years and he was for in India for less than 729 days, we will say that HUF is a not ordinary resident. And if the Karta was in India for 729 days or more and was a resident in 2 out of 10 preceding year, then we will say HUF is a ordinary resident. So these two conditions will determine the residential status of HUF. So residential status of HUF, combination of two things. Number one, the control management of the HUF. Number two, the residency or the period of stay of Karta. Both of these taken together will determine whether the residency is ordinary residency or not ordinary residency. That is the differentiating factor. So yes, guys, that's all for today's lecture. And yes, I'll be uploading these short charts. These short charts will be very, very relevant to you for your preparation. I will upload these charts on the WhatsApp group, which you are already a part of. If you're not part of these WhatsApp groups, guys, please be part of this WhatsApp group. Please message on 9643 929913. You will be part of a WhatsApp group, and that WhatsApp group will give you details of the test which is happening. So this Sunday, we have a test of residential status. We'll be giving test in an online mode based on the latest paper pattern. Okay. Based on the latest paper pattern, we'll be giving this test. So you please be part of the WhatsApp group, which is created on 9643929913. Please WhatsApp on this number to be part of the WhatsApp group. And on Sunday, we'll have test of residential status. Guys, let us pledge that in direct taxes, we will score bare minimum 80 marks. Bare minimum 80 marks is the expectation for direct taxation. If you completely look at these quick revisions, it doesn't matter where have you studied from, which material have you studied from, where what was the sources, questions that you have done, doesn't matter at all. Just look at these quick revision videos, look at the content which has been given to you by your teacher, combine together, give the test, and I'm very, very sure that you will attain more than 80 marks in direct taxation. For the sure, we'll have more than 80 marks. So before I end the session, please write on the chat box, how's the Josh? How's the Josh, guys? Are we all set for June 2022 examination? Are we all set to rock the June 2022 examination? June 2022 is the mission. How's the Josh in the room to attain good marks in direct taxation? Megha Tomar. Tanishk says hi. Very good. Yes, Yashika, I'll be discussing the paper pattern soon. Hi, everyone saying hi. Jyotish is saying very high. Brilliant, guys. Vanshi, Om, Dinesh, Pankaj. Brilliant. Pooja, Deepika, brilliant, guys. Very good. So now we'll meet on Thursday for part 2 of residential status. Please be online on time, 9 a.m. And the other subjects revision series is also going on. Please take most benefit of all the 4 subjects revision series which is going on my channel and the channel of Bright Vision Academy. So if you have not subscribed to the channel of Bright Vision Academy, please do subscribe to channel of Bright Vision Academy YouTube channel, and you will get revision lectures from esteemed faculties, which have been teaching CMAs exclusively to CMAs for past 15 years. You'll get exclusive lectures of those faculties. Revision videos, quick revision videos are available for making you achieve your goal, making you achieve your target, which is June 2022 examination. On that positive note, all the very best and happy studying. Bye-bye. Bye everyone. You can hear me. Good morning. Good morning. Is my voice audible? Am I audible to you?
ऑसम मैगी।
वेज आटा मैगी।
आटा मैगी? तुम बताते नहीं तो पता नहीं चलता।
ये ऑसम टेस्ट है 100% आटा, रंग बिरंगी सब्जियों और 20 मसालों से बनी वेज आटा मैगी का है।
Am I clearly audible to you? Is my board visible to you? Hi Yashika, Yashika Jotwani, Rahul, Vishal, Subramani, Chirag, Pooja. Yes. Saying yes sir, your voice is absolutely audible and yes, you are visible too. Anushka Gupta. Okay,